Nervous energy. Showtime is in 2 hours. I have just joined a guild and I don't want to look stupid, but I still have a world buff that I have to get, and I am distracted by my favorite e-girl. And so I have not noticed that the buff actually dropped just a moment ago. This poses a great problem. What could happen? Tragedy could have struck, I could have lost the buff and then seemed like an absolute idiot in raid. My fan club saves me, letting me know that I actually do have it and I should start paying attention. So I enter a state of panic and head straight to the Flight Master. We're going to be going to Duskwood, mostly because I need to get in the air and I'll have to log out while I wait on the Boon CD. Also, I can talk to new friends. Sometimes I'm not sure what to say to people, and so I hit them with a pog. This is an effective strategy. And so begins the in-between times where you're waiting to do the important stuff in WoW, and this is really where the magic happens, because while you're doing these dumb chores that don't really require your attention, you're able to get to know the people you play with, which is really where all the story making for yourself happens. It's in the minds of other people and it's in your own mind about those other people. I don't remember almost anything that's happened in any of the raids that I did in the past. Maybe just some feelings about them. Like in this moment, I bet I was a little pissed off. I remember that because world PvP is almost always griefing. I tried to get a nice little shot for you here. But the negative emotions that you feel in the game won't stick around in your memory for very long, and neither will the specifics of the positive ones, but you can remember the feelings that you get, and they're going to mostly involve your interactions with other people. I remember very few statistic-based accomplishments at all. I only remember a couple raids I've ever ran that stick out in my mind and that I'm proud of how they went. When you're playing this game, you're existing on borrowed time, and one day you will quit and everything will cease to be. But maybe the trade is unfair. You gain something of far greater value than the gameplay. Perhaps it's a group of friends. Maybe a simple group chat that you can keep forever. And this stuff happens. It's made during the boring times, when you're preparing for the big things, talking to the people you enjoy. You gotta eat your fucking vegetables and do your homework. And that's when you get to know people and where you get the reason to log in at all. But of course I mean that in the abstract, because right now I need to literally get online and get my ass to Sunken Temple, because if I don't, then that means at invite time they may have to summon me. And let's say there's world PvP or griefing going on, and then I delay the raid, and then I will freak the fuck out because I hate being that guy and causing problems for the group. So let's make sure to get there early, very early, so that way nothing really stupid happens. But sometimes, even when you're trying to be extra prepared, things don't go to plan, because there's something else very surprising about this group of people, something that you've probably never seen before when it comes to raiding in a organized fashion, whether it's in a pug or not. And that's that these fucking assholes don't actually start on time. They start early, and so my dumb ass, even though I was early, I was fucking late. And so what you just saw there was me freaking out to set up my fucking stream, even though it's 2 minutes before the starter raid, because I hate feeling like a fucking piece of shit. But it's too late, I'm already a piece of shit. I've just met these people, and I'm fucking AFK in this dungeon that I hardly know, because I haven't done shit except investigate how the bosses work. And I'm like, god damn it, how the fuck did these guys get to the upper level? And so I'm looking around for the motherfucking ropes, because I've only been here once before. And so I'm literally walking around in circles for a whole minute deciding what should I do. Do I want to stand still? I don't want to wander away and get myself killed, or pull trash and somehow get them killed. I'm freaking out. That little bit was literally on 10 times speed. I find the rope finally and click it, and now we're in the action, dude. Now we're gonna show them what we're made of. We're gonna do the serious damage, but I gotta make sure I have all my runes and shit set up correctly. So that's why I'm gonna bump into this wall and act all confused, because I am confused. I don't know where I am. I don't know what's going on. And I'm very, very worried that I'm gonna make myself look stupid. So let's take some consumes really quickly, and maybe that will help hide my stupidity. I was also thinking about, should I stop and eat the squid? But I was thinking that'd be bad for my uptime. And I forgot to go to the grocery store. So hit the flying snake with the rend. Forget to go in Zerker stance, because your brain is tiny. But you can hit overpower on CD, which makes you feel like you're doing real DPS. Turns out my damage sucked. So you gotta go around, you kill some more trash, these snakes keep on spawning, and then you gotta kill them, and for some reason there's like these lasers, I don't know, you like click those snake statues I think, and then it laser beams the middle and that does something, and you get back to killing more snakes. Fun fact, if you live in the United States of America, in most states, reptiles don't have rights, and you could actually kill as many snakes as you want without the police caring. Kinda crazy. Unless they're considered rare snakes, and then you're not allowed to. But that's okay, in this dungeon we have rights, and so we're done with talking about animal abuse, and we're gonna start committing it again instead, because we're in a hurry. We have shit to do. We have very important orders that we have to act on from the Green Wizard himself. You see, we were supposed to kill these things here and then jump down after killing our final snake of the night. We've hit the bag limit. We can't do any more, otherwise we'd be in trouble. However, we got a little excited here and we decided to kill this snake and then go look for some more, which he was very careful to make sure that we wouldn't get arrested and told us to turn our asses around. He said it rather politely and then told us to all jump off a balcony, which we did. It was around now that I realized that I didn't have any squids in my bag, and this was very, very saddening because we had some very responsible people in the raid who were trying to remind us to eat the squid. So in this case, one of the paladins, Purple, was trying to let us know to eat it before every boss. And so before every boss, I got to remember just how fucking stupid I was. So you can see everybody else, for the most part, is sitting down and eating their fucking squid while I'm sitting here eating shit like an idiot, jumping around back and forth, wondering, just how dumb do I look? Maybe I should try to get some rage on these mobs before we do the boss. That would be really cool. But then my peanut-sized brain starts having an absolute conniption, and I forget that maybe you shouldn't dump all your rage on these mobs. And so I make the first good decision of the raid. Let's get ready and see how much DPS we can do. I don't have all the buffs that would be convenient, but I do have quite a few of them. Man, I really should have had Darkmoon Fair. That's so stupid. But I think that I'll be able to do pretty well. We'll see. This is Pokemon Battle Music. This is a commentary on the epic nature of this soundtrack and how it relates to people's childhoods. Yeah, this is definitely fair use. Do not demonetize me for using this track for 14 seconds, you YouTube lawyers. Thank you. Now, you might have noticed that there was 2 warriors on top of the meters right there, and I was not one of them. Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know what happened, okay? I mean, I didn't have wild strikes, but I'm pretty sure I hit the buttons real bad, too. Now, I am joking about my raid performance, but it's actually a very serious thing, because bad raids kill guilds, and they make friend groups blow up, because people can't really stand being in bad raids over and over again. It just doesn't work that way nowadays. So I'm thinking about how I could have done better if I had more of my prebis, if I had the enchants, if I made sure I had all the consumes, and if I had Darkmoon Fair. But I'm also thinking about how being a melee DPS is a little bit of a burden on a raid group. It's pretty hard to build a comp so that you can have 2 melee groups. And it's hard to find feral druids. They're really in demand. And I'd rather play a feral druid with these people than play anything else without them, even though I just met them. I haven't been really impressed by the way a group's been ran and the way people act in it in a long time. And as we're just going through these trash pulls, killing thing after thing, I'm kind of missing out on being distracted by streaming, not playing my best, not just getting to hang out with these guys more. The environment is serious, but they know when to have fun, where it won't actually distract from getting the raid done efficiently and ensuring that the raid leader is able to communicate what they need to communicate. There's respect going in all directions at all times, but it feels special. I don't know if you've ever been in a run before, and it just felt like you should join the guild. It reminded me of the last time I've joined a guild and it went good, which was 5 years ago. I had kind of given up on running a guild, and I found a guy who was running an Ani Pug, and the Pug was going very poorly. And I was the off tank, and he was the main tank. And he treated me with a lot of respect, and he did not lose his cool on the Pugs. So I decided that I was going to take my very small guild and join his. I didn't propose a merger. I told him that I'd like to earn some responsibility, that I wanted to be a tank, and of course I'd want to get a Thunder Fury eventually, but it wasn't that important. I let him know what I liked about what he did, and me and my 5 or 6 guys joined his about 15 to 20 guys, and eventually we had a 24-minute BWL. It was a fantastic organization. Years later, most of those people still play together, but I don't play with most of those people anymore. Whereas I find BWL to be uniformly exciting, I find this part of the raid to kinda suck. But I want to say that Sunken Temple overall is pretty fucking awesome. Here's a similarity it has with BWL and with Nax and with AQ40. It's very linear. What's that mean? You're not walking over empty ground doing nothing, giving people an opportunity to spread out and lose their concentration. It keeps you in the zone, man. You're going from trash pack to trash pack to boss to trash pack. You're not doubling back over cleared ground all that much. And the bosses, they're really not all that bad considering how many new things they tried to put on them. I kind of wish they went a little simpler with the boss design, personally, but I'm just such a big fan of making shit easy. Right here I go full storage wars on all this fucking junk, just running around breaking as much junk as possible, thinking, oh well, I mean, if the boss just lurched at us, maybe that'll be useful. And then I'm thinking, am I getting a little too far ahead? Because I did that before in a pug where I was clearing trash that was super, super far away, and I guess it despawns if the boss doesn't eat it pretty soon. Kind of looks like that stuff I killed literally just 20 seconds ago didn't ever end up getting eaten by the boss, so I don't know exactly how that mechanic works. I think it's a little goofy. One issue that Classic has in general as opposed to retail is that the way things look isn't necessarily the way things work, which I think kind of sucks. I mean, there's some benefits in that because it gives you a way to earn knowledge and take it into the future and share it with people, which gives some magical feelings when it comes to an MMO, but I am conflicted about it. You may have noticed this already, but the way they're doing loot is they're just rolling it, and if you want to symbolize off-spec, you roll out of 99 instead, which is nice and simple. I like how these guys aren't worried about the loot. It's not very important for your performance in the raid, really. Everybody's gonna get every piece eventually. It's nice, it's simple, it's fast, and you can't hear this, but the raid leader is making sure to call out which classes can use the items, so that way everybody else can focus on the raid. This takes a lot of mental fortitude as a raid leader to do all these things, paying attention to where everybody else is, quickly looking at the loot, reading out what the items are, handling master looter while making sure that everybody's progressing forward, and in the case of this area, making sure they don't jump down and go into the middle and start the boss on accident, because Jesus Christ, that'd be fucking bad. This fight excites me. I think it's pretty well made. I like how, in general, the mechanics will punish you when you screw up. It won't punish your friends. I think that's good for group cohesion. I also think it's good because it will make players naturally be forced to learn. Mechanics where your failure hurts somebody else are not necessarily going to teach you a lesson, especially if you're a piece of shit. And sadly, a lot of people are so stoned or drunk in raid that even if they have good intentions, they'll never learn if it doesn't hurt them. So when you have bosses that have spinning things that can hit you, great. If it kills you, you're probably going to learn a lesson. Or you can have bosses that do an AoE disarm. If you don't pay attention to this mechanic, it will absolutely wreck your DPS. That's a great mechanic. I love mechanics that punish DPS for being greedy instead of mechanics that punish people other than DPS for when the DPS are greedy. Really a pretty excellent fight overall, but this having to run out of the middle stuff, kinda lame. DBM doesn't feel super important in this raid, which I think is nice, although not something super important, of course. Interesting little feature. Are you ready for these dragons? I've died to the dumb golf mechanic twice, once trying to test it in a pug, and a second time being a doofus in a pug. Turns out that you will get golfed if you're between the dragon and the hole. It doesn't really matter what angle you are towards the dragon. What I mean by that is, let's say you're directly at the dragon's side. That won't contribute to you moving more towards the outward side of the dragon in flight. It's as if the dragon puts an invisible conveyor belt down between itself and the hole, and that is the direction you will get moved in. So do not make the mistake that I made. If you think that you can hit it from the side, you have to be very careful. Because yes, you can hit it on the side, but if you have it off by just a little bit, you're going to get golfed, and then you're going to feel colossally stupid. And make sure you have your graphics turned up on this one, because you see the green goop in the background? If you have it on minimum graphics, it doesn't render basically at all, and you literally won't be able to see it. And then it will kill you. You will think that you're being smart, you will walk into invisible goop, and it will kill you. The mechanics of how the pushback works are kinda complicated in how they relate to the shape of this little platform you're playing in. I think the game designers did an excellent job because it feels so much more lethal than it actually is. So without actually stomping out raid groups constantly with that golf mechanic, it just makes you feel like it's about to kill you. But there's not actually a lot of areas in the field where you'll get killed. And then we're on to more of the excellently made trash in this dungeon. You do have to pay a little bit of attention because the ghosts hit hard. I originally thought that they weren't very lethal if you had plate gear. Later on, I get crit from one of them for 3,000, so yeah, if there's two of them, almost anybody could get one hit. If there's one of them, you could die within the time of one attack, so like a second and a half. They're quite lethal, but they're easy to deal with too. I think it's a satisfying little mechanic on trash, and it's also something that's not very challenging for pugs. I'm a big fan of having trash that's rather mindless, and it's quick, and you just go from pack to pack, getting to enjoy your class, do your rotation, hit your global cooldown on cooldown. There's a nice rhythm, a nice feeling to playing the game that way, and trash lets you do it in a very low-stress environment, and you get to just hang out in most guilds. Or if you're speedrunning, it extends the experience, which I think's a positive thing. This is another fight that really impressed me with the people I was playing with. You know, there's debuffs that go out on it, and usually things that don't show up on a simple DPS or healing meter just aren't as respected by people, but these guys literally are talking about trying to parse on fucking dispels while we're killing these mobs, and look how quickly they get the dispels off, generally. Like that Holy Fire, it was 3 seconds. You're gonna see this decurse, I bet it's in like 2 seconds. Most of these debuffs are taken off nearly instantaneously on everybody that gets afflicted. If you're really curious, just check out the raid frames there on the left. I bet it's faster than your group, and these healers are proud to do it. But what's funny is they don't even consider themselves very good at doing it because they're not literally doing it completely perfectly, which is fucking hysterical to me because most groups, this shit's just up for a while, man. It reminds me of a time that someone did an impressive action in a ZG I was in. There was a DPS warrior in my guild, and his damage was below average, especially for his gear. He was nearly full bis, and he was not one of the top 5 DPS warriors, but I thought he was plenty good, and I had respect for him. However, he's off-tanking in ZG, we're on the pyramid where Hakar is, and we're doing one of the last trash packs. There's a mob in those trash packs that can charge people that are more than 8 yards away from them. If you get charged, it will knock you off the pyramid and you'll die. He gets charged, he instantly stance dances and intercepts, saving himself. Here's the thing. You move so fast when you get charged by these guys, the only way you can save yourself is if you're waiting for it. So he must have known to wait for that. And I've seen many great players get knocked off that pyramid and die. And this guy that I didn't think anything too special of survived, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Maybe he does some other weird things in raid that I haven't noticed that are special. I'm zooming through the last of this fight. There's a lot of healing going around. The debuffs get cleansed almost instantly, and the DPS players throughout this entire raid have not been bitching at the support roles to do their support. Maybe they would have bitched if they didn't do their support, I don't know, but I really appreciated how people were acting on both ends of it. And then once these guys are done, I didn't realize this, but the dragons start coming in to screw you in case you're a little over eager and want to run into that hallway instantly. And Green Wizard made sure to command us not to go out there like doofuses. I wouldn't have done it anyways because I'm a scared little boy right now and I want to stay behind the tanks. But I thought that was a nice little call to have, and we can just instantly get back into the trash. We're just go, go, go all the time with this group. But if you ask them if they're trying to speedrun, they'd say no because they're like oddly humble about literally everything. They're fucking goofy people about that. They're really good, but they think they like suck. I also like how there's things that you really ought to interrupt in this trash, and that's kind of something that I was trying to do a little bit of because my damage wasn't the hottest. I was like, okay, I should do something to be a little bit useful. I'm going to use Pummel. Man, this two-handed spec, having to stance to do pummel is a fucking pain in the ass. Oh my god. Can I get a rune to use pummel and battle stance? Just kidding. That'd be stupid. I should just go into berserker stance. But for some reason, I was thinking that, well, I really want to be able to use rend and overpower. I should just fucking given up on that and just sat in zerker stance, dude, and nailed the fucking kicks. But I'm a little dumb. That's okay, though. Now we're going to get into the little hidey hole corner, and we're going to talk about doing this boss the manly way. Surprisingly, we don't really stage for this fight very much. We go in basically right away. We get to this corner, we chill here for like 10 seconds, and then it's just fucking in, go, go, go. So what we're gonna be doing is the kill him really fast or everyone dies strat. But what I'm gonna be doing is getting hit by the tail, because I'm a fucking moron. But thankfully, I'm not the only person who's being a little stupid here, and so I'm slightly insulated from feeling like the idiot that I truly am. Now, on this boss, once you get him low enough, he's going to start casting a spell. When that spell completes, you get put into the Twilight Zone. There'll be another dragon in there. If you don't kill him before the Twilight Zone gets cast a second time, you all die. Something bad might happen in this raid, or maybe we'll be just fine. Let's fast forward and see. And now that is what happens when the transition occurs, but all the melee really should have been closer to Morphos there because we lost probably 20% of our uptime, which wasn't worth it because you do double damage down here, which is going to lead to some problems. However, I'm having big problems with my rotation because I'm a fucking moron, and I'm about to realize that I don't have execute on my bars, which is absolutely wonderful of me. And so that's going to, of course, make my damage not that great. And then look, everybody dies, but no one freaks out, and next time we're pretty much sure that we're going to be able to do it because we did a lot of things wrong this time. However, when I say next time, I mean the next time we're in the raid because we don't have the world buffs now. So we went and did it the boomer way, and the second time that the nightmare phase occurred, then we all went down and killed it. So this isn't like without world buffs, we're now doing enough DPS to do it the normal way. And I liked how everybody was down with just changing the strat really simply. Wasn't a lot of talk about it. The higher DPS players, they got to go down, do some DPS in the first Twilight phase, and then everybody else went down in the second one. Have you ever been in a guild where people argue about shit like that, where some DPS players feel entitled to get the higher damage assignment and there's silly nonsense going on in Discord? I like how that literally seems impossible with these people. It's so nice to have a positive environment and where people are also trying to do a good job because, in my opinion, not caring and having people do a really bad job in raid is not sustainable in the long term. So you can't simply not care as a method to resolve personal disputes in raid or to resolve people taking the game too seriously. It does not work. It's much better to have people actually be emotionally stable and support each other, to support the team and get along. And these guys are fantastic people and fantastic players, which are both important. And in my case, I'm kind of being, you're going to see it any second here, but I'm being really bad, and I'm about to go huff this paint like a fucking idiot. Oh my god, do you know how I felt in this moment? Really, really stupid. I was like, oh, look at me. I literally just walk into garbage and CC myself for 12 seconds. It's like I'm the king of stupid shit in raid. But shortly after my mess up, everything's going fine. We kill the boss, and in just a moment here, you're going to see that the dragon isn't the only one that's enjoying the floor point of view, because I too make stupid mistakes. Like right now, I thought that I could go to the opposite side to dodge an acid rain, but that made me further away from the gas clouds, and so I got hit by the one-hit you mechanic. Yeah, nice, just another way to be dumb. We got a few more trash packs before the raid's all over. Everybody's happy. How could you not be? You've had a great raid night. Everything's basically gone to plan. Nothing bad's happened. The loot is, I wouldn't say that it has an impact because it just doesn't really matter in Sunken Temple. But, you know, no loot problems. Just a few more mobs, and then we're on to the boss. And here's something really goofy that you might not have noticed about this boss. Look under that snake. Do you see that? There's something that just doesn't render correctly. There's like a fucking Rubik's Cube there. Weird ass shit. I've had so much fun this raid, getting to see what these people are like. I only really got to communicate with people in text before this. I think I hopped into Discord maybe just a couple of times, but we didn't get to talk together, and hang out very much. But I'm sure I'm going to have a really fun time hanging out with them later. And next time I do a raid, I'm probably going to record it, but I don't think I will stream it. Because I want to be able to capture the comms, and I want to be able to enjoy just talking with the people I'm playing with. I think that's a huge part of raiding in general. If I was in Discord, I'd have probably made fun of Russell when he got the curse there, because that means that his parse is going to be cursed, but then I get it right after him, and I'm stupid, so I walk towards him, so his activation hits me, and then I walk to the left, so then I screw up that guy's uptime. I'm a fucking griefer, sorry. Now the raid leader's like, why isn't he getting a decurse? But it's actually that I just went really far away from the range stack, and then Randy gets the curse, so now I have to take the long way around so I don't get the curse again. Oh my god, my uptime is fucking cursed. I'm cursed. That was such a missed opportunity to shit talk each other mid-raid over it. A lot of that was on me. Some of it was bad RNG and unfortunate positioning with those little blood pools. Although, really, I should just ran through the little glowy pool because it only does 300 damage a second. So 300 damage would have totally been worth the saved uptime. And I'm happy I got that clip anyways because it is really fucking goofy, even if it didn't need to go that way. It's not like a super exceptional event happened, but I still think it's really fucking funny that I was running around slowed and the raid leader's like, why isn't anybody decursing him? And it's actually just, I'm out of range because I'm a fucking moron. All that together is real comedy gold. I wish I had recorded the comms, at least for that part. And now that we're getting so close to the end of the night and we're about to kill the last boss, I'm really wondering what the end of the raid rituals look like for this group. There are tons of groups that what they do is they hand out loot and everybody goes their separate ways and they don't say a fucking thing to each other. But that's not what I'm expecting these guys are going to be up to. Honestly, I'm hoping that we're going to do some world buff dropping, maybe even do some songflower shit too. I love how world buffs really give you a reason to act as a community, and I also love testing how hard mechanics hit after the boss is dead. Yeah, I really should have ran through the bubbling blood. Now I know though that it only hits 300, so it's time to go to the ZG Island. We're gonna go through this portal, but I don't yet realize that we're actually going to the ZG Island. I just know that we're doing something involving a buff. But I'm kind of hoping that somebody else is going to make it clear in Discord and I won't have to ask the stupid question. Thankfully, I think Purple read my mind that I would have no idea what the fuck's going on, because I definitely let them know beforehand that I have no idea what the fuck is going on. So then I ask the stupid question of where do we fly? I get the information I need, and it's time to actually head to Sentinel Hill. And then it's time to land at Sentinel Hill before we hurry up, mount up, and then begin the final bit of our journey to hang out with everybody and collect our buffs. I think it's really fun doing the world buffs together. It's a blast. The whole guild's together. You get actual value out of trying to do it together. It's not like it's contrived. The game gives you an incentive. For example, if you came here alone, you wouldn't be able to fight these guys. You'd either have to trust that they won't try to kill you or purge a buff that you have if you wanted to coexist with them. I'm not a big fan of world PvP, but stuff like this at least makes sense. Or for example, if you're all near each other, one of your friends is going to be stupid and forget the fucking chrono boons, and then you can trade it to them, which is a great little experience to have, and you get to know each other during all this. I can confidently say that us as players, we honestly don't know what the fuck we want until the game developers show us. There are some things that are obvious, but at large, I could have never realized that putting in these dumb little tasks makes the game feel so much better to play. Click my other shit. I got the either first or third video in the series on the screen somewhere. Peace.